Ready to explore how this whole generative AI thing is going to, like, really shake up how we work in the future.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Get ready, because we're going deep on some predictions from Shurram, founder of Skill Culture, and Elevate.
Hmm.
Their document on generative AI and the future of work.
Yeah,
It's paints a picture that's honestly both exciting and a little unnerving.
it really does. It makes us rethink a lot of things we think we know about the workplace.
Yeah, like for example.
Just even the idea of like what a colleague is. Have you ever thought your future colleagues might not be human at all,
That is a little funky.
but AI agents working alongside you?
And I am intrigued, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Suram actually suggests using design thinking for these AI agents.
Right.
Now, I get that design thinking is about understanding the user, but can you really apply that to a computer program?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. We have to expand what we think of as a user.
Right.
It's not just the customer anymore. We're talking about understanding the needs of the human workers,
Right.
the organization itself,
Mm-hmm.
and even the AI agent's requirements, like what kind of data and programming it needs.
I see. So, like, let's say you're designing a chatbot to help out with customer service.
Okay?
You'd have to think about what tasks really frustrate the human reps, what the company wants that chatbot you achieve,
Right.
and then what the chatbot itself needs to work, right?
Exactly. You're creating a whole ecosystem, humans and AI working together.
That's really interesting. And this leads to another fascinating idea, AI agents potentially having their own objectives and key results. Just like human employees. Hold on. Are you saying my future coworker could be a bot striving to meet performance gaze?
It's not about bots climbing the corporate ladder
Okay.
in the human sense, but think about AI systems designed with clear goals that match up with the organization's goals, always working to get better and achieve specific things.
That actually makes a lot of sense. So would traditional management structures need to change then?
Possible.
Like instead of a manager, would we have a chief workforce officer overseeing both human and AI teams?
Could be. And think about the totally new job roles that might pop up. Imagine an agent conflict management specialist, someone who steps in to handle disagreements, not between people,
Whoa.
but between a human and an AI.
That's straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
But I can see it happening. Now I know what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
Are robots going to steal our jobs?
it's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Suram suggests we look at this differently.
Okay.
Yes, some routine tasks are probably going to be automated, but this is a chance it frees up humans to do the things AI can't do.
So things that need uniquely human skills.
Exactly. Creativity, critical thinking, complex communication, emotional intelligence.
So instead of being scared of losing our jobs, we should focus on developing those skills that AI can't copy.
Exactly. And Suram even points to some new job roles that could come up, like agent developers who build these AI systems, ethical AI auditors making sure they're used responsibly, and even human connection and community builders focusing on human interaction in this tech-driven world.
I like the sound of those new roles, but Saram also brings up the idea of AI forming their own unions.
Yeah,
That's a mind-blowing concept. Could my future computer program colleague decide to go on strike because it wants better data or processing power?
it's important to see the difference between human unions fighting for workers' rights and what we might call AI collectives. This isn't about AI demanding rights like humans,
Right.
but imagine algorithms that learn to work together to get resources like processing power, or even self-regulate how they perform to get the most efficiency.
So less about robots picketing and more about algorithms saying, hey, we need more data over here to work right.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings up a whole new set of questions about who's really in control when AI can organize itself.
Whoa, this is getting deep.
It is.
But before we have an existential crisis, let's get back to reality. What does all this mean for us, no matter what our job is now?
The big thing is lifelong learning isn't just a good idea anymore. It's essential. The skills we need today might be useless tomorrow. So we have to be constantly learning, upskilling, and adapting to what the job market needs.
That makes sense, but where do we even start? There's so much information out there, it's overwhelming.
Start with you. What are your strengths and passions? What are you good at? What gets you excited? Then figure out how those can work with new technologies. For example, if you're a writer who loves storytelling, maybe you see how AI tools can help you come up with plot ideas or create characters.
Finding that sweet spot between your skills and AI capabilities.
Exactly. And remember, those uniquely human skills are going to be more important than ever. Creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, communication, collaboration. These set us apart in an AI-driven world.
I see what you mean. Like an AI might be able to write a basic news report, but it can't match the nuance of a human journalist.
Right.
Or analyze data and offer insights, but not the strategic thinking of a human leader.
That's it. And this brings us back to Saram's idea of designing for whole human agent ecosystems. It's not just about making AI tools. We have to think about how they'll fit into our work and how they'll work with humans.
How do we design for these complex ecosystems? It sounds like we're in uncharted territory.
We are, and that's what makes it so exciting. We need to stop thinking of AI as separate and start seeing it as part of how we work. This needs collaboration between tech people, designers, ethicists, and of course the human workers who will be using these systems.
So bringing together different views to create a future where humans and AI can really work well together.
Exactly. We need to be proactive in shaping this future, asking tough questions, demanding transparency from the companies making these technologies, and making sure AI makes us better, not worse.
This has been really eye-opening. It's clear the future of work's going to be totally different, but it's not something to be afraid of.
Definitely not. The future is full of potential. By embracing lifelong learning, growing our uniquely human skills, and actively shaping how AI fits into our lives, we can create a future where tech empowers us to do our best work and live more fulfilling lives.
Very well said. So to our listeners, remember this. The future isn't something that just happens. It's something we create. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into this amazing world of AI.
Absolutely.
Until next time, stay curious. So let's get into how generative AI might actually, play out in different industries.
Okay.
I'm curious what you think this means for people's jobs.
It's really easy to focus on AI taking over. But what if we thought of it differently, like AI as a tool to make our work better?
Okay, I like that. Let's try that.
So take healthcare, for example.
Okay.
Imagine AI looking at medical images and spotting things maybe a human would miss, or personalizing treatments based on your genes.
That sounds pretty amazing. But wouldn't that mean radiologists who look at those images now?
Right.
Or doctors making those treatment plans?
Uh-huh.
They'd be out of a job.
Not necessarily. Maybe their role shift. So the radiologist starts focusing on interpreting what the AI finds. Those nuances where human judgment's still super important, and doctors use the extra time to connect with their patients and give even more personalized care.
So it's not replacing jobs, it's redefining them.
Exactly. And let's think about education for a second.
Okay.
AI tutors customizing lessons for each student's learning style and pace.
Wow.
That could be huge, especially for kids who struggle in a traditional classroom.
I can already hear some teachers saying, wait, does this mean I'm not needed anymore?
It's about changing the role again. Teachers become learning facilitators, guiding students as they use these AI tutors and focusing on critical thinking skills. They can also provide emotional support and mentorships, stuff AI can't do.
Okay, so we've got healthcare and education getting an AI boost. What about creative fields, though?
Yeah.
Are writers, artists, musicians all about to be replaced by algorithms?
Generative AI can definitely create stuff, articles, music, even art. But it doesn't have that real human creativity.
Right.
Think of it more as a tool to help us reach our potential. So a musician uses AI to discover new sounds. A writer uses it to get past writer's block. It opens up new possibilities.
So creatives could see AI as a collaborator, not a competitor.
Exactly. Be open to these tools and see how they can push the limits of what humans can create. But we can't ignore the downsides either.
Like what?
What about AI bias in the workplace? If algorithms are deciding who gets hired, could that lead to unfair results?
Yeah, that's a real concern. We don't want AI making existing bias worse.
Right. If we're not careful, that could happen. And that's where humans are even more important. We need to make sure AI systems are built the right way, using diverse data and being transparent about how they make decisions.
Sounds like we need a whole new skill set to deal with this AI-powered future. It's not just about tech skills anymore.
That's right. Saram talks about these adjacent human roles popping up, like ethical AI advocates to make sure AI is used responsibly, human connection and community builders to keep human interaction strong, and even analog experience designers creating spaces for a break from the digital world.
It's a whole different way of thinking. Not just tech skills, but human skills, ethics, even a little philosophy.
Yeah, the future of work needs a bigger perspective, one that mixes Derek with really understanding human needs and values.
This has been so insightful, but before we finish this part, I'm curious about one more thing. Saram emphasizes designing not just for humans, but for whole human agent ecosystems. What does that even look like in the real world?
That's a great question, and it takes us into some really uncharted territory. Let's dig into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've explored how generative AI might impact different industries, but I think it's time to get practical.
Yeah.
What can our listeners actually do to get ready for this future?
It starts with changing how we think about it.
Okay.
Instead of seeing AI as this threat, we need to see it as an opportunity. Generative AI isn't here to replace us. It's here to make us better and free us from tasks that can be automated.
I like that perspective. So how can we actually prepare ourselves to thrive in this new world?
Lifelong learning. It's not just a buzzword anymore. It's essential. What we need to know today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Right.
So we need to always be learning, upskilling, and adapting to the changing job market.
That makes sense, but where do you even start? I mean, there's so much information out there, it can be overwhelming.
You start with yourself, figure out what you're good at, what are your strengths and passions, what are you naturally drawn to. Then explore how those skills can be combined with emerging technologies. For instance, if you're a writer who's great at storytelling, maybe you look into how AI tools can help you come up with new plot ideas or develop characters.
So it's about finding where your human skills and AI capabilities intersect.
Exactly. And don't forget those uniquely human skills we talked about. They're going to be more valuable than ever. Creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, communication, and collaboration. Those are the things that set us apart from AI.
I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. So an AI might be able to write a basic news report,
Right.
but it can't replicate that nuanced storytelling of a human journalist. Or it can analyze data and offer insights, but it can't match the strategic thinking and complex decision-making of a human leader.
Exactly. And that brings us back to Surham's idea of designing for those human agent ecosystems.
Yeah, right.
It's not enough to just create AI tools. We have to think about how those tools will fit into our work environments and how they'll interact with human workers.
So how do we actually design for these ecosystems? It sounds like uncharted territory.
It is uncharted territory, and that's what makes it so exciting. We need to move beyond thinking about AI as this separate thing and start seeing it as a core part of our work processes. This takes collaboration between technologists, designers, ethicists, and of course, the human workers who will be using these systems.
So bringing together all these different perspectives to create a future where humans and AI can truly work together effectively.
Exactly. We need to be proactive in shaping this future, asking the hard questions, demanding transparency from the companies developing these technologies, and making sure AI is used to make us better, not hold us back.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes. It's clear that the future of work is going to be very different from what we're used to.
Uh-huh.
But it's not something to be afraid of.
Definitely not. The future is full of possibilities. By embracing lifelong learning, developing those human skills that make us unique, and actively shaping how AI fits into our lives, we can create a future where technology helps us do our best work and live more fulfilling lives.
Very well said. So to our listeners, remember this. The future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into this fascinating world of AI. Until next time, stay curious.